Hey everyone, how's it going? Last week I played every single Zombies map in Advanced Warfare for the first time. I made a video documenting the whole experience. There's a link to that in the description and in the right hand corner of the screen if you want to check that out. I've played the maps more since that video was recorded, got familiar with them, and now it's time to rank each one from worst to best. There's no criteria for anything on the list, it's all purely based on my own opinion and which one I enjoyed the most. Coming in at our number 4 spot as the worst Zombies map in Advanced Warfare is Infection, otherwise known as Burger Town. This might be the worst Zombies map I've ever played. I'd rather play Transit, Dead of the Night, Alpha Omega. Hell, I'd rather play Durong Fong or Terra Maledicta than this. This map is awful. So what's wrong with this map? Well, let's start with what the map did right. It accommodates the exosuits better than Outbreak since most of the map is outdoors and pretty wide open. That's about it. The concept of the map itself is already in and of itself a terrible idea. We fought zombies in Siberia, in Alcatraz, in a French countryside with 1,000-foot tall robots. We fought zombies on the goddamn moon. And Sledgehammer decides to take us to a fucking McDonald's for their next map. Are you kidding me? At least Transit was ambitious enough to try and recreate an entire town. This map is 2 blocks surrounding a McDonald's and a fucking sewers. Oh, and the sewers are a whole other problem. While this map is far more wide open and spacious in most areas, the sewers are dark, narrow, and filled with a ton of low ceilings that make the exosuits entirely useless. That wouldn't necessarily be a problem if it was just an extraneous part of a map, but not only is it the only way to get from spawn to the actual Burger Town where Jug and Pack-a-Punch are, but the map will force you into the sewers by filling the open areas you actually want to play in with toxic gas. Once you get past round 30, the only area of the map you can survive in is the worst area in any Zombies map ever. But that might not even be the worst part of a map. Vanguard gets criticized for being an objective-based game, but I would rather do any of the objectives of Vanguard, or any of the objectives in Cold War's Outbreak, than the fucking Survivor objective on this map. So if you haven't played this map before, occasionally a living human being will pop up on the map, and it's your job to escort him from one place to another to escape. Escort objectives are terrible in just about every game they've been in, and this is probably the worst escort objective I've ever had to play. The survivor is completely defenseless, is constantly talking, and is seemingly in no hurry to get anywhere. You're going to use all of your ammo to complete the objective, and your only reward is a weapon upgrade, which basically just brings one of your weapons back to where you started, since weapon upgrades mean little to nothing in this game. And if you decide not to complete the objective, you're punished by having all of the power generators turned off for a full minute, and then you have to go all around the entire map just to turn them back on again. And keep in mind, things like ammo for wall buys and the mystery box need power to function. So if you try and complete the objective, use all of your ammo and fail, you have no choice but to sit around for a full minute doing absolutely nothing while you wait for the power to turn back on, only to then waste even more time turning the generators back on so you could actually interact with anything on the map. There's so much wrong with this map. I haven't even talked about the terrible wonder weapon, the awful Easter egg, and all of the problems that are inherent to every Advanced Warfare Zombies map. This is easily the worst Zombies map I've ever played, and hopefully the worst Zombies map I will ever play in the future. Now, while I have this next map just a spot above Infection, I want everyone watching this to know that this map is a vast improvement over Infection. If I could have 27 empty slots between this map and Infection, there would be. But coming in at number 3, we have Descent. This was the last map for Advanced Warfare, and it's easy to say the game went out with a bit of a whimper. The map isn't all terrible like Infection is. The visuals and the concept is great. This is not only the only map to not take place in another gray, boring Atlas facility, pardon the double negative, but is also a very neat idea for a map. An underwater hotel gives this map a visual style that others don't have. The map is also the first to have an actual boss fight in the Zombie series, which, while not executed to its fullest, and can be very annoying to be forced into a boss fight in casual games, it was an innovation for the series and is often wrongly attributed to Dreisendrach. The boss fight is a cool concept, but underwhelming in execution, which is how I would describe the map as a whole. While everything in the map is a great idea on paper, it's not executed to its fullest potential. The Trident is a great wonder weapon on paper, but is not practical in a map with wide open hallways. How am I going to get ricochet kills when the walls are so far apart? The blunderbuss is a great idea, but it's too slow to be an effective weapon in most situations. It's one shot to get one zombie out of your way, and that's it. You can choose the boss fight with it, but that's 2 use cases that are very specific. The map isn't offensive like Infection was, but is just not good enough to justify playing over other maps, even other maps in Advanced Warfare. Speaking of other maps, at the number 2 spot we have the first map for Advanced Warfare Zombies with Outbreak. Outbreak is the first map in Advanced Warfare that I'm comfortable calling a decent map, or maybe even a good map. It's really simple at its core, which is good for learning the mode on, but it still provides enough strategies to warrant replaying multiple times. I would compare it to a map like Der Riese, Kino der Toten, or 5. It's not as ambitious as a map like Mob of the Dead or Origins, but it doesn't have the complexities of any of the Black Ops DLC maps, and is also more fleshed out than the typical World at War map. That can be a double-edged sword, as the simplicity can lead to experiencing everything on the map very quickly, but in this case I think the simplicity works in the map's favor. The biggest problem I have are the overarching issues with Advanced Warfare, like poor special enemies and a few bizarre Easter egg steps. For a first map, it's acceptable. And at number 1 we have Carrier. Carrier is just a bit higher than Outbreak, and the biggest reason for this is map design. Carrier by far accommodates the exosuits the best of any Advanced Warfare map. Most of the map is wide open in all 3 dimensions, and it has an interesting wonder weapon. One flaw that the map has is the bomb objective, where enemy AI will shoot back at you as you attempt to defuse a bomb, but the objective is far more optional than the survivor objective, and it's surprisingly less difficult than you would expect. If you dislike the objective, you probably prefer Outbreak over Carrier, but I like having more wide open areas. And unfortunately, there's not a whole lot to talk about with the 2 best maps in the game. They kind of just get to the point where they're passable and do nothing else interesting or noteworthy beyond that. So if you're wondering why I didn't talk about the 2 maps that I like from this game more, that's why. They're just not really all that interesting in comparison to the other dozens of maps that are part of the Zombies lore. But that's my list ranking every Advanced Warfare Zombies map. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and leave your own ranking down there as well. Thanks again for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.